We do had some simple days. Remember when we got actually mad because of this camera bump and now actually we all have a fidget spinner behind? But I don't want to talk about this because these are really old phones. This one doesn't even work and this one doesn't have juice on it, so what I want to talk about is an alternative to the smartphone. Before I had an iPad Pro, but I sold it because I couldn't read on it because my eyes doesn't really resist on LCD or AMOLED to read on, and I got this e-reader which has Android, but I talk about it on another video. The thing is, when I had the iPad I was getting a notification while I was reading, so I was getting distracted, and if I wanted to read, for example, let's say 200 pages, I mean not 200, 20 pages, I was doing that, I don't know, in like 1 hour. And because it's a black and white screen and e-ink, so I don't have the blue light, I read those 20 pages in like 40 minutes. So this is what I want to do, efficiency and to eliminate distractions. And I told myself, hey, let's step a bit up and try a phone, an e-ink phone. So I got this thing right here. It's sad because I don't really see an official way to buy this here in Europe. You have to buy this from AliExpress if you live, for example, in Romania. What's that, you may be asking? Well, it's a Bigme. What? You didn't heard about it? How could you? It's such a popular brand, everyone knows about it. Anyways, it's a Bigme, it's a brand from China, you can find this on AliExpress. I don't see an official way to buy this here in Europe, in Romania, but I got this in a second-hand marketplace. I don't know how I found this, but the owner told me that he couldn't really use this thing because it wasn't for him. So I thought, hey, a 70% discount, it's a good payment for this thing because these things are not that cheap. For a phone from AliExpress to pay 300 bucks, it's not that cheap. So yeah, let's look at this. I like the packaging because it's a combination between white and rose gold, and I really like the texture, the feeling, if you get me. Nothing on the front. Right here you have inheriting, classics, breaking through limits. Nothing, the same thing. And here you got the specs. 128 gigs of storage, it has 100 on the phone, and 6 gigs of RAM. And nothing here. The unboxing is close to the Apple iPhones because you have to slide this thing up, and the first thing you're noticing is you get some stuff here. First thing, you get this screen protector which is matte. It had two, but one is applied because the screen is glossy for some reason, and the e-ink tablets usually have this kind of foil that you don't really have to take it down, so the screen is matte and you can see on the sunlight. Put it right here. Also, I like the packaging because even if it's a cheap phone, I like the details on it, like this soft thing right here which protects the phone. It's really nice. It has a plastic foil, some booklet. You can see that we live in 2025 because no one has the patience to read anymore, so this thing right here is really short read and just the basic stuff, Chinese and English, and a SIM card tray. And that's it. You don't even have a cable for this thing, not even a charger, but headphones, hell no. So this is the phone. The screen is actually turned off, but because it's e-ink you can actually see some stuff on it. The cool thing about e-ink is that if you let this phone in this state, it can live, I don't know, 100 years or even more because it's ink. So once the pixels are formed, it will live like this. It doesn't even consume energy, and I like this. On the front you can see the film that is applied and the little camera right there. It's a 5 megapixel with one stereo speaker, and that's actually it. It looks like a smartphone from 2016 because the body duration is so bad and it has a chin and a forehead, but I like this. I like because it's different a bit. On the side you have a button which is like a back button on it, and I think it's programmable. I think you can set up to do what you want to do. And a SIM card tray. On the top, nothing. On the right side you have the power button and the volume ones, and I like the details because you can see that it has some kind of rose gold details on the buttons. It's exactly the same color as this text, and yeah, this is a nice detail as well. On the bottom, you don't have a speaker, but you have an USB-C and two microphones. This thing has only one speaker, which is this one, and it's a combo speaker. It's like the earpiece and the usual speaker that you can find here right now. I don't like the placement of the USB-C because it's not symmetrical. For example, this is an really old iPhone and it's symmetrical. You get me? It's not in the middle, but it's on the bottom, and yeah, I don't really like this, but it's a small detail. It's not deal breaker. And the back is a plastic one, and it has the logo right here, really secretly placed with a camera. One camera, not three, not two, but one. This phone is 9 years old and has two cameras, and this one has one. So yeah, that's funny a bit. 13 megapixels with a flash, which is really bad. The flash, I think, is the worst flash that I ever saw. If you take this phone right here and you set the brightness to the max, I think it's like the same level. So I think that the Bigme would have been more cooler if it had the same color right here. I don't know. Would it? This is subjective anyways. Let's start up the thing. Yeah. I mean, the specs aren't the best, but this thing right here doesn't even try to be speedy. So the first thing that you are seeing is the launcher. No, the first thing that you are seeing is the screen. This thing right here is actually turned off right now because it has also front light, but I will get there in a bit. The second thing that you are seeing is the launcher, which is pretty ugly. I think it looks like very 2013, but that is subjective as well, and I think that you can set it up a new launcher, but I won't even try. I was scared because I thought that it may not connect to our local network, but actually you can see the Vodafone Romania is there, and actually it has a pretty strong signal. I barely get 4G on my iPhone, and this thing gets it right here, so that's a good sign for compatibility. The cool thing is that the screen is actually colored, even if it's e-ink, so you can see some kind of colors on it even if they are pale. I mean, if it will be really stupid to compare this with an AMOLED or an LED screen, so yeah, it has some kind of color, so you can get an idea of what color it will be right there. Let me get into the spec sheet right here. It has 6 gigs of RAM, 105 gigs of storage, and Bluetooth 5.0, which is a great thing. The CPU is from MediaTek, which is known by a mid-range company. It has 12 nanometers, which is funny because iPhone has like 3 nanometers right now, but it's at least an octa-core version, so that's a good thing as well. The display is the most interesting part from this phone, of course. It's an HD resolution, I mean an HD plus, and it's funny because it has 160 ppi screen. The iPhone 2G, the first iPhone ever made in 2007, has this kind of ppi, so it is really funny. But it's an E screen, so it's a bit different here. And it's funny as well that it has only 30 Hz refresh rate. Phones nowadays come with, I don't know, 120, 144, 165 screens, and I'm here showing you a phone that has 30. Why are you even looking at this channel? The battery, here it shows that it has a 4000 milliamperes battery, but on the website it shows that it has only. And the Android, even if this phone is made in 2024, it has only Android 11, the security patch from 2021, which is bad. I don't recommend installing banking apps on this thing right here. So how it works? How can you use this thing? I don't know. I just installed stuff and I just wanted to show you my first impressions. Let me turn on the internet. So this is the typing experience. Let me type something really fast so I can show. No errors, which is like it wrote perfectly fine, and I don't have any ghosting right here, which is super neat. I was expecting worse performance on this side. Um, I also found that you have this ink center, which if you press it, you have some modes. I am currently on refresh mode fast, but you have like extreme, which makes this phone goes brrt on 30 frames per second. If we go to the settings, you can see that it almost moves like a normal panel. If you go to the X center and you select the HD 256, which is I think a great mode for reading, it will be like this, like really slow. But I think it also saves the battery, but I don't really care, so I will go again back for the fast mode. I also find it funny because it has a color adjustment, and you have like this thing called vivid enhancement, which I found this term on Samsung phones, and you can on Samsung phones the vivid means that you can see colors that you can't really see in real life. But here the vivid means that you can barely see the colors. But hey, for an ink screen I think this is great. And yeah, I will be making a video about this. How is the battery, how it feels to actually use this thing. I installed all the apps excepting the banking apps, even WhatsApp I could install on this thing. And I will come, I think, in 1 week to show you how it really works. How it works the Google Maps, how it works the internet browsing, the signal, the battery, if I will have some kind of updates, and that's it.